They say millionaires are born with luck. That some people are destined to make it and others are not. But Yogananda shattered that illusion nearly a century ago. He said, "The greatest power you possess is the power of your thoughts. Not your background. Not your circumstances. Not even your talent. Because all those things are only expressions, outer reflections, of what your thoughts first believed possible." Most people think thoughts are abstract, harmless, whispers in the mind. But Yogananda taught that thoughts are energy. They are real, tangible vibrations that move through the universe. Every single thought you think radiates a magnetic frequency, and this frequency is what quietly designs your life. Stop for a moment and look around you. Everything you see, every building, invention, career, fortune, began as a thought in someone's mind. Before it was a business, it was a belief. Before it was $1 million, it was a single idea, repeated with conviction until it became real. But here's the twist: this same power that builds worlds can also destroy them. Because when you think small, you attract small. When you think you're weak, the universe agrees. When you believe you can't, your thoughts immediately begin constructing that reality around you. That's why Yogananda said, man's environment, his success, and failures are the reflections of his habitual thought. Read that again: habitual thought. Not the thoughts you think once in a while, but the silent inner conversation that repeats daily, hourly, moment by moment. That's the real architect of your destiny. Now imagine this: two people grow up in the same neighborhood, same income, same education. One becomes successful, peaceful, and abundant. The other struggles for decades, always blaming fate. What's the difference? It isn't opportunity. It's vibration. The successful person learned, consciously or not, how to keep their inner frequency aligned with success. They learned that thoughts aren't just private things in your head, they are forces in motion. And when your inner force is clear, your outer life has no choice but to reflect it. Yogananda explained this long before the law of attraction became a pop culture phrase. He said, every thought you think has weight, color, and form. In other words, your mind is painting your reality, stroke by stroke, with the invisible brush of imagination and belief. Think of your thoughts as seeds. When you plant seeds of power, faith, gratitude, determination, you harvest success. But when you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and resentment, you harvest struggle. The soil doesn't discriminate. It only gives you what you plant. The millionaires, the innovators, the change-makers of this world, whether they know it or not, are simply people who mastered the garden of thought. They water their inner world with discipline, clarity, and confidence. They protect their mental soil from weeds, negativity, gossip, and self-pity. They understand that the mind is not a mirror of the world is a mirror of the mind. That's why when you study someone like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, or Oprah, you see something in common. Before they built companies, they built conviction. They visualized outcomes before any evidence appeared. They refused to surrender to visible circumstances because they understood, consciously or intuitively, that thoughts are creative power. Yogananda said it best: you become what you think. You attract what you feel. You create what you imagine. Now, let's go deeper. Why do some people's thoughts create success, while others create endless frustration? The difference lies in belief energy. A thought alone is weak, like a spark. But a thought charged with emotion and belief becomes a flame. That flame becomes a vibration that changes the molecular structure of reality around you. Have you ever noticed that when you're deeply confident, life seems to flow differently? Doors open. People respond better. Ideas come easier. That's not coincidence. That's resonance. You're finally vibrating at the frequency of the life you want. But when you're fearful, doubtful, or angry, notice how quickly everything goes wrong. Your thoughts pull more of the same energy toward you. Your outer world becomes a projection of your inner imbalance. Yogananda said, the mind is the creator of everything. This means every external condition, health, wealth, relationships, is molded by the energy patterns of your thoughts. Your body listens to your thoughts. Your finances respond to your thoughts. Even your luck bends to the rhythm of your thoughts. This is why he taught the discipline of mental purification, the art of replacing weak, fearful, self-destructive thoughts with powerful, confident, God-aligned thoughts. Because the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your destiny. The average person lets their mind wander all day, reacting to news, people, and problems. But the successful one watches their mind like a guardian. They train it. They feed it affirmations, vision, gratitude. They direct it instead of being directed by it. Yogananda called this the mastery of inner forces. He said, when you learn to control your thought energy, you can command the very elements of life. That's not just poetic. It's literal. Every word you repeat internally sends out a vibration that builds structure in your life. If you constantly think, I can't, I'm not ready, I'll never make it, your thoughts obey. They build barriers, they block opportunities, they tune you out of alignment with abundance. But if you start saying, I can, I am, I will, it's possible for me, everything starts to shift. Your body changes. Your energy changes. Even your posture and tone of voice change. You stop attracting chaos and start magnetizing harmony. This is not magic. It's resonance. Yogananda explained it this way: the human mind is a spark of God's infinite consciousness. Whatever it believes, it creates. So ask yourself, what have you been creating lately? Look at your life honestly, without judgment. If your reality feels heavy, limited, or chaotic, maybe it's time to examine the story playing in your mind. Because thoughts don't just describe your life, they prescribe it. They are the silent builders working around the clock, constructing tomorrow from the material of today's beliefs. Millionaires, mystics, healers, all of them use this same universal law. Some call it faith. Some call it vibration. Some call it mindset. But the principle is timeless. Energy follows thought. If your thoughts are chaotic, so will be your results. If your thoughts are disciplined, powerful, and rooted in purpose, success becomes not a chase, but a consequence. And this is where Yogananda's ancient wisdom and modern success intersect. He taught that when the mind is calm and focused, it becomes like a powerful magnet. It doesn't chase. It attracts. It doesn't fight. It aligns. That's why he said, when your mind is calm, you will know what to do. Because clarity is power. And that clarity comes from mastering your thoughts, not letting your thoughts master you. So pause and ask yourself right now, what am I habitually thinking about myself, about money, about my future? Are these thoughts serving me or sabotaging me? Because if you want to change your world, you don't need to start outside, you need to start inside. Yogananda said, change your thoughts if you wish to change your circumstances. That's the real secret millionaires don't want you to know. Not because they are hiding it, but because most people wouldn't believe it's that simple. But it is. The challenge is not knowing it. The challenge is mastering it, day by day, thought by thought, until your mind becomes the builder of miracles instead of the manufacturer of excuses. And once you do, the universe itself begins to respond differently. Opportunities appear that you couldn't see before. Synchronicities align. And suddenly, success feels less like hard work and more like flow, because your inner vibration finally matches the frequency of your destiny. That is the beginning of true power, the mastery of thought. They say energy doesn't lie. And Yogananda would nod in agreement, because he saw energy as the true language of life. Everything you are, everything you attract, and everything you lose, begins and ends with energy. Thoughts are energy. Emotions are energy. People are walking transmitters and receivers of energy. The problem is, most of us are leaking it. Every day, your energy, the same energy that could build dreams, attract wealth, and heal your life, is being silently stolen. Not always by bad people. Not even intentionally. But through the invisible exchange of vibration that happens in every conversation, every environment, every moment you let your guard down. Yogananda warned about this. He said, when you mix with negative people, you absorb their magnetism. Think about that. You're not just hearing their words, you're receiving their frequency. You're syncing to their vibration. That friend who constantly complains. That coworker who gossips. That relative who always plays the victim. Every moment you give them your attention, you give them your energy. It's not just emotional exhaustion, it's literal energetic depletion. You walk away feeling tired, heavy, uncertain, even when nothing bad happened. Why? Because their thought vibration temporarily lowered yours. Yogananda called this mental contagion. He said thoughts, like diseases, are contagious. They can infect you without your awareness. The moment you start empathizing with someone's negativity, you begin vibrating at their level. And in doing so, you disconnect from your own source power. Now imagine what happens if you live that way daily, surrounded by energy thieves disguised as ordinary people. They might be kind. They might even mean well. But if their inner frequency is rooted in fear, worry, anger, or scarcity, they pull you down without realizing it. This is why Yogananda emphasized company, not in the social sense, but in the spiritual sense. He said, keep the company of those whose thoughts uplift you. Because who you're around is who you become, vibrationally. Millionaires understand this, too. You'll rarely see a truly successful person wasting time with complainers. Not because they are arrogant, but because they understand energy is capital. And negative people are the worst investments. You can rebuild money. You can rebuild reputation. But rebuilding lost energy takes time, and most people never realize where it went. So let's go deeper. How exactly do people steal your energy? It happens in three main ways. When you interact with someone emotionally unstable, you enter a tug-of-war of vibrations. They speak in frustration, and your empathy opens a channel. You begin to absorb that vibration. Your energy field, your aura, starts to resonate with their emotion, just like a tuning fork. This is not metaphorical. It's physics. Your nervous system syncs to their frequency, trying to match the emotional tone. That's why when you talk to someone joyful, you feel lifted. When you talk to someone angry, you feel heavy. When you talk to someone anxious, your heartbeat rises even if nothing is wrong. That's energy exchange. Yogananda said, energy is contagious. Therefore mix with those who are serene and cheerful. He wasn't being poetic. He was describing how consciousness transfers. When your vibration is high, peaceful, powerful, loving, you attract success. When it's low, fearful, irritated, judgmental, you repel it. So when someone's energy drains you, they're not just making you tired, they're short-circuiting your manifesting power. Because low vibration equals low magnetism. And when your magnetism is low, your thoughts lose strength. You may still affirm, visualize, dream, but the current behind those thoughts is weak. It's like trying to run a mansion on a dying battery. The lights flicker. The systems malfunction. You're still thinking positive, but the vibration isn't matching the frequency of success anymore. That's how your energy gets stolen, silently, daily, through emotion. The second way people steal energy is through mental suggestion. Every thought someone directs at you, whether spoken or silent, carries vibration. If they think of you with envy, criticism, or pity, it subtly interacts with your energy field. If you're not conscious, you receive it. This is why Yogananda taught that mental protection is as important as physical protection. He said, don't let the opinions of others affect your peace. Their thoughts cannot touch you unless you allow them to. That's the secret, permission. Nobody can drain your mind without your permission. But we give it unconsciously all the time, when we worry what others think, when we seek approval, when we let opinions shape our self-worth. Each time, we're leaking power. Think about how many decisions in your life were guided not by your inner voice, but by fear of judgment. That's stolen energy. Because you handed your authority, your mental command, to someone else's vibration. The millionaire mindset refuses to do this. They respect feedback, but they guard their vibration. They don't let other people's disbelief dictate their destiny. Yogananda called this self-command. He said, he who conquers his mind is greater than he who conquers a kingdom. Why? Because when your mind is unshakable, no one can steal your energy. The third thief is environment. Every place carries an energetic imprint, from homes to offices to cities. Yogananda said, wherever you go, leave behind a vibration of peace and love. But he also warned that some environments can pull your vibration down. Notice how certain rooms feel heavy, how some buildings make you anxious, how you feel creative in nature but drained in traffic. That's not imagination. It's resonance. Places remember emotion. The walls, the air, even the light retains the energetic echo of what has been experienced there. And when you enter, your field begins to synchronize with it. That's why successful people obsess over their environment, their workspace, their home, their morning routine. They understand. Your surroundings either charge your vibration or weaken it. When Yogananda created the Self-Realization Fellowship in California, he chose land by the ocean for a reason, because natural energy cleanses the mind. He wanted his students to meditate in high-vibration places where nature could recharge their thoughts. So ask yourself, where do you spend most of your time? Is that place feeding your spirit or starving it? If you're constantly in noisy, chaotic, negative spaces, your thoughts will mirror that energy. And soon, your results will too. How to protect and reclaim your energy. Now that you understand how energy leaks happen, let's talk about protection, not in a mystical sense, but in a practical one. 1. Begin your day with inner alignment. Before you speak, scroll, or interact, take 5 minutes to center your energy. Meditate. Affirm. Visualize. This creates a strong vibrational shield, a conscious frequency that filters what enters your field. Yogananda said, "Stillness is the altar of spirit." When your mind is still, you are untouchable. No one can drag you into chaos when your consciousness is rooted in peace. 2. Guard your attention. Attention is currency. Where your attention goes, energy flows. So stop giving free energy to gossip, drama, and distraction. When you focus on your goals, your vibration consolidates. When you scatter your focus, your vibration weakens. Be deliberate with what you consume, mentally and emotionally. 3. Practice energetic hygiene. Just like you shower to clean your body, cleanse your energy daily. Yogananda suggested prayer, deep breathing, or time in nature. Even silence can reset your vibration. 4. Surround yourself with uplifters. He said, "Company is stronger than willpower." So keep company with those whose thoughts empower you. Conversations should leave you lighter, not heavier. 5. Reclaim your inner authority. Stop letting external energy control your mood. When someone tries to pull you into negativity, pause and breathe. Remind yourself, this is their energy, not mine. That single recog. Why do you think successful people protect their mornings? Why they avoid endless news or toxic debates? Because they understand, energy management is success management. Yogananda's ancient wisdom and the Millionaires' mindset are two sides of the same coin. They both revolve around one truth: your inner energy creates your outer wealth. Money is energy. Success is energy. And when your personal vibration is high, those energies find you effortlessly. When your thoughts are positive but your vibration is drained, results stall. When your vibration is strong, even small actions create momentum. That's why millionaires often say, it's not about working harder, it's about working in the right state. They are talking about vibration, the same thing Yogananda called God-conscious magnetism. He said, when your energy is high and pure, success becomes inevitable. Because pure energy attracts pure results. So protect your energy like treasure. Don't argue with small minds. Don't dwell in places that shrink your soul. Don't explain your vision to those who live in doubt. Every minute spent in negativity is a minute stolen from your destiny. Yogananda said, a strong mind, calm and uplifted, is the magnet of all good. When you embody that, nothing can truly be taken from you. Not your peace. Not your power. Not your purpose. Because you've learned the greatest secret of all, that the real battlefield is invisible, and victory begins within. They say, you become what you think about most of the time. But Yogananda took it deeper, you become what you vibrate most of the time. Because thinking alone is not enough. A thought without energy is like a seed without soil. You can plant 1,000 ideas, but if your inner frequency doesn't match what you desire, nothing grows. This was one of Yogananda's most revolutionary teachings. Thoughts are dynamic forces. When impregnated with faith and emotion, they become magnetized with power to attract their own kind. And this, in essence, is the same principle that modern millionaires, visionaries, and creators live by, whether they call it alignment, flow, or the law of attraction. Let's break down this blueprint, the bridge between thought and manifestation, exactly as Yogananda described it and how successful people unconsciously live it today. Your thoughts are the builders of your destiny. But most people don't think, they react. They repeat thoughts given to them by the world, by fear, media, limitation, and memory. Yogananda said, your environment and habits may shape you temporarily, but your will can remake your destiny. That's the first step, conscious thought selection. You must choose your inner conversation as carefully as a millionaire chooses their investments. Every negative thought is an energy debt. Every powerful thought is an energy deposit. What does a successful person do every morning? They don't just think randomly, they set an intention. They deliberately choose the vibration they will carry through the day. That's spiritual investing. So pause right now and ask yourself, what am I thinking about when I'm not paying attention? Because those background thoughts, the ones you think on autopilot, are shaping your results far more than your affirmations ever will. Yogananda said, change your thoughts, and you change your destiny. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest disciplines on earth, because it requires awareness. Once a thought is chosen, it must be charged, and that charge is emotion. Yogananda said, feeling is the fuel of thought. You can't manifest what you don't feel. A person who says, I'm wealthy, but feels scarcity inside, sends a mixed vibration. The universe doesn't respond to words, it responds to energy. That's why so many affirmations don't work. You can repeat I am successful 1,000 times, but if you feel tired, doubtful, or small, your vibration cancels the signal. Millionaires don't just think rich, they feel rich. Even before they had money, they carried that inner certainty. They felt abundance before seeing it. They trained their nervous system to resonate with wealth. Yogananda taught his students to do the same with health, love, and peace. He would say, imagine yourself already in possession of what you desire. Feel the joy of it, the gratitude of it, that feeling is prayer. When your thought and feeling match, your energy becomes magnetic. That's when you start seeing synchronicities, opportunities, ideas, people, and resources aligning with your inner state. It's not coincidence. It's vibration. You've tuned your inner frequency to the channel where your results already exist. Yogananda often told his disciples, the scattered mind is weak. The concentrated mind is divine. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because their energy is divided. They start a goal, then doubt it. They pray for one thing, then fear it won't come. That inner conflict drains all magnetism. He said, when you concentrate deeply on one idea with faith, you unite your will with cosmic will. That's the secret. Concentration converts mental potential into creative power. Millionaires call it focus. They know that success isn't about doing more, it's about doing the right thing with total intensity. When Elon Musk works on a single engineering problem for 14 hours straight, that's not obsession, that's directed energy. When Oprah visualized her future show long before anyone believed in her, that wasn't luck, that was focused vibration. Both were using the same universal law Yogananda described, the law that says, energy follows attention. So when you want something, don't just wish for it. Hold it. Hold the image, the feeling, the conviction, longer than the world holds its doubt. That's how the invisible becomes visible. Yogananda was never an escapist mystic. He believed spiritual power must express itself in practical life. He said, spirituality is not a withdrawal from action, but the right kind of action. You can't just sit and think, you must move in harmony with the vibration you want. If you think abundance, act abundant. If you think health, act like someone healthy would. If you think divine peace, behave with calm even under stress. Each aligned action reinforces the vibration and sends a stronger signal to the universe. Millionaires don't wait for motivation, they act from conviction. Their faith is expressed in motion. That's why the world calls them driven, they are literally moved by energy aligned with vision. As Yogananda said, faith without dynamic action is dead faith. That's why he trained his students not just to meditate, but to work, to serve, to build, to create from a higher consciousness. Here's the hidden step most people forget: protecting the energy you build. Yogananda warned that once you elevate your vibration, the world will test it. Distractions, negativity, and challenges will come to see if your faith is real. He said, trials are not meant to destroy you, but to strengthen the power of your thought. Every obstacle is simply a vibration asking, will you stay strong, or will you lower yourself again? This is where most people lose momentum. They meditate in the morning, get centered, feel positive, and by noon, one comment, one phone call, one traffic jam has drained everything. Millionaires handle it differently. They treat energy like a fortress. They maintain their state regardless of outer chaos. They know that emotional control is the ultimate success skill. Yogananda said, he is rich who can remain calm and happy in any circumstance. So don't just build energy, protect it. Choose silence over argument. Choose focus over distraction. Choose peace over proving yourself right. Every time you do, you multiply your inner power. Here lies the final step, and the one most people resist. Once you've chosen the thought, charged it with feeling, focused it through concentration, acted in alignment, and guarded your state, you must let go. You must release control and allow the universe, the divine, God, whatever name you choose, to handle the how. Yogananda said, the moment you have faith and release your desire to God, it is already on its way to you. But this is where fear creeps in. People start doubting. They ask, what if it doesn't work? What if nothing changes? And with that fear, the vibration collapses. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that your energy has already planted the seed in the unseen. It means you stop digging up the soil every day to check if it's growing. Millionaires understand this intuitively. They call it detachment. They say, I focus, I work, I let go. Because once the vibration is set, once your state matches your desire, life begins to conspire in your favor. Opportunities align. People appear. Synchronicities happen. Doors open effortlessly. That's not luck, that's universal response. When Yogananda spoke of divine power, he didn't mean something outside of you. He meant the consciousness within, your true self, is the same creative force that made stars and galaxies. You are not a beggar of destiny, you are its creator. He said, the power that makes your heart beat is the same power that moves the universe. Realize that, and nothing will be impossible for you. That's the ultimate message, and it's exactly what the world's most successful minds eventually discover. That success, health, love, and fulfillment aren't things you chase, they are natural expressions of high consciousness. When your vibration is aligned, outer reality simply rearranges to reflect it. You stop asking, how do I get what I want? And start realizing, how do I become the energy of what I want? Because when you become it, it finds you. So how do you live this truth daily, in a modern, practical way? Let's bring Yogananda's wisdom into your routine. Morning, wake up and affirm, today, I choose my vibration. I am the creator of my thoughts and energy. Sit in silence, breathe deeply, and visualize your day flowing with power, focus, and grace. Throughout the day, guard your attention like sacred currency. When negativity arises, don't fight it, transmute it. Turn every frustration into focus, every fear into faith. Evening, before bed, recall your wins, not just actions, but energetic victories. When did you stay calm instead of reacting? When did you choose love over fear? Celebrate that, because it means your vibration is rising. And in that rising vibration, everything changes. Not immediately, but inevitably. Because the laws of energy never fail. So maybe the millionaires aren't hiding the secret after all. Maybe they just discovered what Yogananda knew a century ago, that thoughts are the architects of destiny and energy is the builder. The poor man waits for conditions to improve. The rich man builds conditions from within. The awakened man realizes, both are projections of thought. So when you ask, how do I succeed? The real answer is, by mastering the invisible first. As Yogananda said, when you master your mind, you master creation itself. That's the teaching the world has forgotten. And that's the secret they don't want you to remember. Because once you realize how powerful your thoughts truly are, you'll stop being controlled, stop being afraid, and start creating a life that mirrors your highest energy. Not someday, but now. Because the thought you hold now is already shaping your tomorrow.